All right, welcome to Sundance Safety Seminars. For the month of February, we're going to talk about cold water survival and hypothermia awareness. So most cold water deaths happen within minutes, not hours. Even the strongest swimmers are at risk. According to the NCCWS, water temperatures from 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit can kill you in less than a minute, which is less time it takes to succumb to hypothermia at freezing temperatures. They go on to explain that thousands of people drowned after falling into cold water, and a lot of them die before they even have a chance to reach the surface because you gasped when you were underwater and then they drowned. So conditions that we have to be considerate of on the river is that in the wintertime, the current is unpredictable and fast. Heavy rain and snowmelt increases flow. It changes the eddies and pilings around the bridge. Turbulence can be drastically different than it is in the summertime. Floating and submerged debris, so you have to watch out for deadheads and partially submerged objects that can pose collision risks, and accelerated heat loss. So rain, cold wind significantly speed up the onset of hypothermia, even without falling in. So if you were to fall in, falling overboard, the breakdown and timeline of what actually happens, you go into cold shock, you get cold incapacitation, hypothermia onset, and this all determines your survival outcome. So at 0 to 1 minute, when you fall into the water, you get cold shock, which is immediate triggering the gasp reflex. You get uncontrolled breathing, and that risks immediate swimming failure. At 1 to 10 minutes, you get cold incapacitation, which is loss of hand grip strength, inability to climb ladders and hold lines, and rapid fatigue. And at 10 to 30 minutes, hypothermia onset happens. Confusion, slowed movement, and loss of consciousness. So what to do if you fall overboard? Control breathing. First, float in your safety position if possible. Keep your airway clear of water. Do not immediately swim hard against the current. Stay with your boat if possible, and use reboarding ladders immediately. Deployable reboarding ladders. Why every boat should have one. A person falls overboard may not be able to reboard without assistance, especially in cold water if cold incapacitation has set forth. Cold shock and hypothermia rapidly reduce strength and coordination, making it difficult to climb. Fixed ladders may be underwater or inaccessible after a fall. A deployable ladder allows self-rescue even when alone. Many fatal marina accidents involve people who are unable to get back onto the boat or dock in time. So what you need to know is emergencies do happen, and it's better to be prepared and not need it and not have it. So even low-profile boats, the person overboard may not be able to reboard without assistance. So there are several types of reboarding ladders. You have fixed ladders. They're permanently mounted and always ready for use. They're reliable but may be inaccessible from the water if not designed to deploy below the waterline. You can use rope ladders, lightweight, compact, and easy to store. Can be difficult to climb when cold, weak, or gloved hands are being used. These are best used as a backup rather than a primary ladder. And then emergency deploy ladders are designed to be deployed from the water. They're critical for solo boaters in winter conditions and provide the safest rescue. Cold hands and ladder use. Cold reduces grip strength and finger dexterity. Numb hands make it harder to hold the rungs securely or maintain 3 points of contact. Wet gloves or bare hands can slip on metal icy rungs, and slower reaction times increase fall risk during reboarding. So the best ladder placement, ladders should be reachable from the water without assistance. Install at least one ladder that deploys below the water line, but you want to avoid placing those ladders near propellers or sharp objects. Ensure the ladder has non-slip rungs and strong handholds. Keep the ladder clear of ice, snow, and obstructions. So we're going to talk about safety lines and jack lines for moving on deck in the wintertime. Winter decks are slippery due to ice, frost, and spray. Jack lines provide continuous attachment points along the deck. Safety tethers prevent falls overboard during movement, especially important when you're going on the deck or bow of a sailboat alone. Lines should be rigged low and inboard to reduce fall distance. And clipping in is critical during cold, windy, or rough conditions when recovery can be difficult. Proper protection for thermal wear. You're going to have a layering breakdown where you're going to want to have your base layers. Those are moisture wicking, non-cotton base layers. Then you want your insulating layer, which oftentimes would be fleece or wool. And then you want your shell, so wind and waterproof. I oftentimes avoid down because down can make you heavy and it doesn't stay warm when it gets wet. So what we don't recommend is having jeans. They get extremely heavy when wet. It restricts movement, increases fatigue, and hard to remove in emergencies. Same with hoodies. They trap water and air. They can cover your face. They can get caught easily because of the loose fabric, and they're heavy when soaked. So hypothermia signs and preventions and the response to what to do. So signs can be a quick onset, shivering, slurred speech, confusion, loss of coordination, and you can be fine and crash a couple minutes later and you just never really know. So what to do? Get out of the wind and water, remove your wet clothing, do passive rewarming, and avoid rubbing your extremities aggressively. If someone does fall overboard on your boat, this is the Mayday basics. You want to tell them who you are. So Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. What is your boat type? What is your group you are with? You want to tell them your exact location, the river name, the mile marker, landmark, and your GPS coordinates if available. What is wrong? How many people were involved? And what you need with help. Stay on the radio and you'll follow their instructions. Channel 16 is the International Distress, Safety, and Calling Channel used to make distress signals like Mayday, hail nearby vessels, or the Coast Guard. Once contact is made, you switch to another channel. It keeps best practices to use Channel 16. Keep your radio on and volume up. Speak slowly and clearly. One person communicates on the boat only. Avoid multiple people keying the mic. Waterproof handheld VHF radios are far more reliable than phones on the river. So we're going to talk about the throw, don't go principle. This is about rescuer safety. So you want to talk to the person, the swimmer from the shore. You want to throw a rope, PFD, cooler, or dry bag, anything that can float to the person in the water. Reach, you can use a paddle or a branch only if it's secure. And then the last option would be go, and that's only for trained rescuers with proper gear. Why this matters? Cold water, strainers, and foot entrapment kills rescuers. Many drownings involve people who just jumped in to help. Why untrained rescues create secondary victims? Most river fatalities involve multiple victims because instinct overrides your training. People underestimate the current strength of the Columbia River. Rescuers lose footing and get pulled under, and panic can spread very quickly in emergency situations. A rescuer who becomes a victim has failed the rescue. Secondary victims divert resources from original victims, escalate chaos and confusion, and often lack personal protective equipment, PFDs, helmets, ropes, knives, etc. So the bottom line, your safety always comes first. Call for help early, not late. Use the right tool. A VHF radio is better than a cell phone on the river. Throw, don't go. And calm, trained actions save lives. Panic creates more emergencies. And that was it.